Welcome back to the Droid Duo!
Hey, let go of the sign. It's my turn to introduce the show.
No way!
All right, welcome back to the Droid Duo podcast. I'm David Schweidel.
I'm Gil Apple. I'm the Pink Droid, and today we're going to talk about so many things. We're going to talk about this quote from Mark Cuban that kind of interested us. So we're going to show the Replit build of the winner of our first competition, and you're going to show your video that you took of Pomelli, and maybe I'll even show my screen of some of the action there.
Sounds like a plan. So let's start off with a quote that was in a recent article attributed to Mark Cuban. And Gil and I, as our day jobs, are faculty at our respective business schools, but I wanted to share this take from Mark Cuban. You don't even have to be a software engineer. Learn all you can about AI, but learn more on how to implement them in companies. Companies don't understand how to implement all that right now to get a competitive advantage. And then he followed it up by saying, every single company needs that. There's nothing intuitive for a company to integrate AI, and that's why people don't understand. That is going to be jobs left and right. And what really stood out to me about this is basically what he told his kids, is that this is where the jobs are in AI right now. It's not necessarily in building the tools, and there are some jobs there, but really it's going to be in helping companies to integrate and apply these tools.
So it's funny you're saying this, because I'm writing a paper now on the frictions in the adoption of generative AI. And we identify a lot of frictions, three types. Like one is network externalities, one is chasm between adopters, early adopters and late market, and one is like the word of mouth fatigue, like AI fatigue. People don't talk about it as much as they did at the beginning. And I think one of the important things, and what Cuban is talking about here, relates to network externalities. It's about the fact that the more people using the product, the more value it has, but there are struggles at the beginning. And the struggles here are threefold, actually probably even more. But first of all, it's resistance within the company. So people are afraid and concerned. I've seen data that I think 30% of employees actively try to sabotage implementation of generative AI platforms in their workplace. We have people that are afraid and don't trust those systems. And we have this data network externality problem. This is something new. It's like a new externality that we weren't thinking about it, that those models are not as good before they get data. It's like the driverless cars. Before they start driving, before they move on, they cannot really do anything without getting the data to collect it. And here we're talking about companies that need something very niche, very specific. They don't need the Taylor Swift songs. They need solving a problem that's specific for their companies. And there's all these niche problems, the frustration of customers when you don't find a scripted solution. And for those, the models need more data and more training, and it takes time. So early adopters get the system that has low utility.
Well, I think part of this also, what it suggests is you need to understand the space that you're in. If you're in the services industry, if you're financial services, if you're hospitality, that's the needs that you're going to see there. That's different from the needs of retailers, right? That's different from the needs of tech companies. So all of these companies are going to have different types of problems. They're not all going to have the same problems. And so from a student standpoint, if I'm looking at high school students today, do you tell them go and study computer science? Or do you tell them, and kind of Cuban's take on this is, what should you be doing in your free time? Spend your free time understanding these tools that are available, whether we're going to look at Pomelli today, we're going to look at Replit today, look at all of these tools that are becoming more readily available and understand how to apply them. That's a great starting point, but it's not going to, it's a Swiss Army knife. You've still got to understand how you're going to apply that to particular problems.
So it's funny. I had this week as a guest speaker in my class, Chris George, the founder of the Subscription Trade Association of America, and the largest conference on subscriptions. And he was talking about, he's mentoring a lot of people, and people coming to him, and most people are coming, how can I make the most money in the fastest time? Which is the wrong question to ask. And he said that how can I take my skills? I have this unique skill that I'm super good at it. How can I take it and leverage it? And I think each of us has our own skill. And I think today, for each has their own AI system that will complement that skill. So if you're interested in advertising, if you're interested in promotion, Pomelli is amazing for you. If you're interested in storytelling, then Google Portraits is good for you. If you're interested in anything, there's an AI platform out there that will make you a lot better, even compared to someone who's good at it, and certainly someone that's random that uses this platform. So this is all about integration and creating something that's bigger.
No, I think you're spot on. It's based on your interest. Augment your capabilities, right? Be the best at that particular aspect of things using AI. And then the next challenge for you is to figure out where is the opportunity to go and monetize that. What are the types of businesses that are going to need that type of skill set?
So, and I think companies are starving for something like that, because it's all fun with the buzzwords and like this. I saw the MIT article that's saying that 95% of AI initiatives in companies fail, which is funny because most initiative fails in any company. And Wharton just released a more recent study showing that 66% of employees use AI at work, but 46% of them don't trust AI. So what does it mean? You have to have someone that will come to the company and say, yeah, I know all these systems. Yeah, I know how to use them, but also I know how to bring value. And this is a problem, translating the technology, the buzzword, to something useful. I tell my students, whenever anyone tries to sell you a buzzword like AI, ask 3 questions. The first, can you describe this solution without saying the word AI? Second, does it solve a problem that I actually have now? And third, tell me about the negatives of this problem, of this solution. And if they cannot give you an answer to all those 3 questions, this is not actually something you should be adopting. And what you're seeing here, that if you're an expert in AI integration, that's the value you're bringing. It's not the buzzword. I'm expert in bringing value from those new tools.
So, Gil, I want to get your take on kind of the preparation aspect of this, though, right? Like, what should schools be doing right now? We can start it with college, or we can back it up even sooner. I mean, arguably, high school students should be becoming fluent in AI, but how do we adapt to this? Because it's different. It used to be the case saying, okay, I'm going to teach you these particular skills, and these skills are what's going to go out and get you a job. And now, do they need to have that, here is your 1 semester class, learn these skills that you'll be able to apply? Or should we be offering those classes to say, we're just going to provide a safe space for you to experiment? Or do you see this more as a complement to learning the kind of business foundations?
So I have to separate business schools from other schools, but like in business schools, the value we're bringing is to turning them to future leaders, right? And to do that, they have to get some more hands-on experience.
Yeah.
They have to get more critical thinking, like we talked about the show in education, but they get to have their hands on working with real problems. There's no value in sitting in class and playing with something. I see professors are saying, oh, we need better plagiarism testers. Oh, we need to do only pen and paper exams. I had this year, I built 2 assignments to use AI in class. And I find that the students are afraid to use AI tools because all the professors are telling them, you cannot use this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's knowing how and when.
To one of my colleagues, she teaches classes in entrepreneurship and innovation, and she'll tell use AI as much as you can if it's going to help you get the job done, right? Like we care about the output that you're producing. If we're evaluating people based on output and they use AI to get there, that's a tool that's at their disposal.
Yeah, and if you're not, you're shooting yourself in the leg.
Yeah.
And as professors, we're doing them a disservice. So it's like, and again, I separate this from history, from arts, from anything else, and it's still, you need to know how to work without AI. It can't be that you cannot write an email without an AI. You need to know to do an elevator pitch. You need to know to prepare yourself to be like out there. There are some things that you need to know how to say, but you need to know when to and how to use AI. And those integrators will play a very big part in this mid generation that's still adopting AI now.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely something for educational institutions, both the K through 12 and higher ed, to think
Yeah.
about. Like, this is a landscape that's constantly shifting, and we're going to have to continually adapt. And I've got a really simple objective. Sitting in a business school of, my goal is that our students come out better off and get better jobs than they would have otherwise. And there, with all the talk of AI displacing jobs, let's recognize there are going to be new jobs created by AI, but you're going to have to understand the technology and what it can do and when is it appropriate to apply that technology. So, my big question is, what's the role that we have to play in kind of structuring how students think about leveraging and using AI?
So it's the same role as always. Like, the theories haven't changed, people haven't changed. They need to understand how people work, how to affect people, how to give value to people. And if they do that, they're just adapting to the right tools. And to do that, we need to give them environments that they can safely experiment in those tools. I tell my students again and again, university is where you fail safely.
Yes.
And where you can learn, and much more important than your grade, like what you took from you with the class. But it's something that we'll have to establish more and more in classes, and it needs to be something that the university itself understands. And I fear that most universities don't even get this now. They're afraid, they're concerned. There are so many things going on. The question is there going to be a university in the future? And I think we need to understand that the product we need to deliver to our students have changed.
Agreed. Well, speaking of kind of changing product, we posed a challenge to folks last week for us to build something using these agentic coding platforms, and this is the same platform that I use in my class. We go from business problem or business idea to finished product by the end of the semester. So in this class, I use Replit I will be using Replit with the students in the spring. Last time we used a different drag and drop platform, Langflow. We built out some custom chatbots. One of them was a legal aid chatbot. We've built out some reporting type tools. And so the challenge that we posed to anyone who wanted to comment was to give us an idea, and we build out the tool. So this was the only idea that we got. So congratulations, Rohan. You're going to be getting a free set of files from us for the concept that you had. But this is all that I used as the prompt. I literally copy and pasted this into Replit and allowed it to go ahead and do the build. So let me show you guys what this looked like after I copy and pasted it into Replit. We should have up here. There we go. And this is just going to kind of scroll through. So again, I gave it the instructions. It processed this. It determined this is what you're asking me to build. And then it went about doing the entire build with minimal involvement from me. There were some challenges that it ran into. I haven't published this yet, but I wanted to share, some of the challenges that we ran into in using Replit was, it built it out, but it needed to connect to other services. So it needed to connect to an open AI key. It needed to connect to a SERP tool in order to pull other, competitive analysis. By default, it started out using GPT-5, made it run a little bit slow. So I said, you know what? Let's switch over to a smaller model because I don't think we need the capabilities above the mini models. Now, with all of that changing, we still got error working. Right? So there still was shooting that was involved. Eventually, we were able to get it working. I think this took maybe of my time, probably an hour, maybe two of my time just doing the troubleshooting. A lot of it was UX changes that I decided to make because I thought it would run smoother based on how I had envisioned it using. So for example, it required me to click a start button at each stage in the process, and I didn't see the need for the start button. So I said, just start it automatically. It also built it trying to do all of the jobs all of the tasks in series. So there were 6 AI calls that needed to be made. It was doing 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. So I had it switch over and do these 6 calls in parallel. So that was able to speed up the time considerably. So great.
one question, like how much, so you built several tools in this, but someone that understands the business concept but doesn't understand coding at all, do you think they would be able to do that, what you did here?
Absolutely, because this entire build was based on me not looking at code. It was based on me trying to get it to work, it not working, and me just going back and forth saying, why isn't this working? And then when I spotted problems with how it looked, I'm like, you know, it's not necessary for me to hit this button. Just start it automatically for me. Like, why are you making me do things?
Yeah.
So I think these tools are really going to enable people who don't know any code to be able to build prototypes, right?
But what they do know is the business strategy, right? So
exactly.
This is why that's important.
Right.
And they have the critical thinking skills to challenge an AI that doesn't give them a good solution.
Right. If you think about the idea that it used to be you needed 3 different types of people for business. You needed the visionary founder, you need a salesperson, and then you needed a tech person. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think you need a standalone tech person anymore. I think you need the person that has the vision to be comfortable using the available technology in order
at the beginning
to build a prototype. To take it
to
scale, that's another story. But to build a prototype, you don't need to be a software engineer anymore.
So it's not the napkin drawer anymore. You don't draw something on a napkin. You have actually something that actually works to present your vision.
Yep.
And then again, yes, to make it real, you need someone that knows what they're doing.
You know, the napkin drawer is, I mean, this is one of my favorite stories, right? Like, it's the Citibank Travelers merger of the logo, and a renowned designer literally drew the logo on a cocktail napkin and passed it to the CEO. And the response was from the CEO was like, "I'm spending millions of dollars on a cocktail napkin." He was like, "No, you're spending millions of dollars on the knowledge that I have, which is what allowed me to do this work on a cocktail napkin."
Yeah.
Right. If you've got an idea, if you're an entrepreneur, you should be using these tools, whether it's Base 44, whether it's Replit, whether it's Lovable, whether it's Mocha. You should be using these tools to build your prototypes, right? You know,
your vision. Yeah,
build your vision, bring that vision to life, and chances are, I think you can upload images as the initial prompt. So you could quite literally draw out the interface that you have in mind, scan it in, and say, "This is what I want."
Yeah, or use Napkin AI to do it easier.
So, but this is a competitive analysis tool, right? The other tools that Gil, I've shared with you, right? In SEO Drafter, write SEO optimized content. I've built out the digital twin, all without writing a line of code, right?
Yeah.
And so, do these tools work? Absolutely. Now, them being made available to the public and hosted online, that's different from building an enterprise grade solution. But let me just show you kind of, this is what the finished product looked like that we had created. So I just put in a website, related to things that I'm interested in, how to create the project. And you'll see here, it's going to run for a little bit. It's going to give you the updated status. It takes it a little while to run. You can look at any of the individual reports that were produced below, or once all of the data has been acquired, you can say, okay, well, generate the strategic plan for me. All right. And for that one, that was one of the places where I was like, yeah, you know what? We really need to be using the reasoning models there. The mini models probably aren't going to be able to cut it as far as saying, okay, you're giving me disparate pieces of input. I need to figure out how to put this information into an actionable plan. So there's some knowledge, there's some thought involved. If your goal is speed with these types of applications, what are the models that are needed at different stages of the workflow?
So this is fascinating because I remember visiting Emory a couple of years ago. You had someone on location that was helping you with AWS optimization.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to need something, probably an AI will do that, to
Eventually it'll
optimize,
be an AI.
to optimize your use of AI models so you're not spending too much money.
Now, what I believe that Amazon has launched a tool like this, I think it's called Kira, that essentially plugs and plays with AWS. I have not had a chance to test that out yet, but that's going to be that's the next level, right? Is okay, I've built a working prototype that I can show you. I've built the toy version. I need to take this to scale. Yeah, is this something?
Let me challenge you on something we didn't plan to talk about today.
Okay.
I want to talk about the side hustle of the day. And
Okay.
I hope we can make it to a corner of our show, because it's nice to talk about theories of things, but you build this tool.
Yeah.
You built something, you learned something about those AI tools. How can I make a business out of it? And I think I want to use this as a segue to the next part, because I think Pomelli is a great, brilliant example of how can someone watching this can do an easy side hustle on promoting brands on social media or anything else.
Yeah.
So do you want to show the video you made of Pomelli, and we'll talk about that?
Yeah. Let me just speed through. I want to show you, everyone here,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can see that, this thing is eventually running. The project is still running. It's got the results, but let's just jump to the strategic plan, saying, and this is probably something that I should have done, to say, okay, don't just wait. If I click the button, I obviously want the strategic plan. So again, stupid UI things that are easy to fix, but that the AI is not going to get right immediately.
On its own. So again, this is also a side hustle. I made this, right? Now I want to promote it. Like, again, this is Rohan's, but like, he wants to promote it. Where would the point to be on how can I promote and build those things? I have AI.
So, you're talking about a series of side hustles, right? Like, I've built a tool in the SEO drafter. I've incorporated Stripe payments, so you can direct, like, within the tool itself, it'll take you over to the credit card processing portal to complete the
launch it to be like some sort of passive income. As long as you bring in those people. Oh, here's the executive summary. And this is something you can show people. And the nice thing, target companies, target small businesses, don't give them the full solution. Send them the summary, but tell them, hey, I did analysis on your website. I have this 4-week plan for you. Hire me and I'll come and solve your problems.
So for somebody who is, a website developer, who is kind of a content creator, but needs to be able to scale, their outreach to companies, you could be running this and saying, okay, I can do this for 20 different businesses. Let me send it out to all 20 of them.
Or 100 and see, like, cold calling. It's like, look how complex and big this thing is. And again, it took you an hour to build this. So if you're smart enough, and again, you can use AI for ideation and run something in parallel, you can have 100 business like this that are launching anywhere.
This would definitely alleviate the bottleneck on manually having to go through, review a site, and put together a proposal, right? This is instant proposal.
And generating income. And the fun thing is, you don't have to do anything. It's already done. You've already created the plan to send them. But
So let's show everyone the Pomelli video. And I can't stand the music, so I'm just going to kill the music that they're using.
Let's explain what it does first for a second.
Right. So this is a new tool from Google Labs. So it's still in the experimental stage.
And still not integrated into their solutions already.
So what it does is you give it a website.
Any website
that is search scrapable. We've run into some issues where it's not scrapable, but you give it any website. And what it's going to do is it's going to go through the assets on your website, the text, the colors, the images that you have. And then once it kind of builds out that brand DNA for you, then it's going to say, okay, here are different creative themes or different creative ideas. Come up with images and taglines for me. So pretty cool. Tool.
Yeah, I think it's like taking and extracting the brand essence of any website you give it.
Like, if I'm an agency, why aren't I using this as the initial tool for saying, okay, new clients that we're pitching, let's pull all of the brand DNA, and here is the starting point. I don't know that I'd be using the creative directly out of Pomelli, but at least as a starting point.
again, I want to think again. Sorry, I'm in the side hustle mindset today, but like,
I'm
let's
all
say
for it.
you're an MBA student or an undergrad student or whatever, and like you take this tool, you identify 100 local businesses, you send this tool to collect information, then prepare like example of 4 ads, and send those businesses in one ad and a brief that, of course, those businesses will create.
So this is
And
what I had done, and I'll kill the music on this while we're talking. But this is also posted on our
or
YouTube
YouTube.
channel. So let me kill the music. I just put in the brand Golden Goose, high-end sneaker and apparel company. And you can see I've sped it up. It took about 5 minutes in total, but I've just sped it up so that we can see how this works on a particular example.
And I'll share screen in a moment, like showing how it looks for another brand.
Right, but you can see everything that it's doing, all the information that it's gradually pulling in, and then let me see if I can pause it once it actually produces the report. Okay, so this is the report that it had put together, right? It's got the name of the company, it's got the fonts that are being used, the color palette that's being used. It's put together a tagline. Let's get that off the screen. Icons are symbols of memories and emotions. It's picked up on brand values, and that seems pretty consistent.
I've checked several brands already. I checked Coca-Cola. I've checked others. It's really impressive. I think Allbirds. Yeah.
Right. And then it's got a business overview. You can see at the bottom, but it's picked up on the brand aesthetic, the brand voice. And then it goes into saying, okay, well, based on the business DNA that we've extracted, here are campaign ideas that we came up with already. And I clicked on the scars of icon status one, but you can see it comes up with, here are posts. Get to the last. All right, well, that last one didn't seem to, okay. Oh, let me try to get back there.
So the thing is,
you've got posts that are, in my opinion, borderline ready to go.
And one more thing, once it's connected to Google systems, I have no doubt that Google will have tons of promotions, hidden and obvious, that if you use our product to promote your branding, there's some benefit there for you. And let me share my screen for a second.
I mean, this isn't there yet.
Yeah, it will be there. It's a labs mode.
Trivial for Google to say, okay, let's connect this to Google Analytics.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Let's connect this to Google Ads.
Yeah, it will be. It has to. So I did the same analysis on Neo, the new robot from X1, the home robot that is supposed to be fully automated. But again, because I thought shoes is kind of trivial, let's see an ad of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I asked it to do the analysis for this. So the name of the website, the logo is here, the fonts are here, the colors are here. Transforming your home, building a world where we do more than do more of what we love. Autonomy, safety, and design. So everything extracted, and then you can look at the campaigns it proposed. So buy back your time, the ultimate home upgrade. Your time is no longer negotiable, and you can ask it to suggest ideas if under basic concepts. So I can tell it, okay, it is fall. Make a campaign that leverages that. It's like the most stupid idea I could think of. And how would a robot campaign be associated with a fall? But because everything is about organization and simplification, I really like the time angle, but it's actually, so now it's running and trying to understand how to make campaigns for that. Let's give it a few seconds.
Well, while we're giving it some time, I mean, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, look at this.
Should agencies be worried?
Oh,
embracing this.
I think agencies should be a lot more than worried. I think that, like Apple did with their move to privacy and secrecy, that they're not sharing data with advertisers, which in essence what they wanted to do was take money that was left on the tables that advertisers were taking, that Apple was not. Google is feeling like we can do a lot more than just placing the ads for you. We know everything. We can make the content for you. You don't need the advertising.
And Zuckerberg has said the same thing, that his goal is for Facebook to do that all.
Yeah, because they understand they need to be there. They need to, like, why?
And they have all the data.
Yeah, why
I
sell
mean,
the media placement if I can sell you everything?
right. They have all the data. They know which ads work for which people.
Yeah, and they can create the right ad for you. So, like, it's really amazing.
So on the one hand, it's amazing. On the other hand, I think this is going to be a challenge for marketers and for creatives at large. I think this is going to raise questions. And you and I both sit in the marketing area, but this is going to raise questions of what is the value you're adding. If the value you're adding is going through assets and putting together a board that kind of summarizes the brand DNA, you should be very worried.
Yeah.
If the value you add is connecting the ideals of the brand, if you're connecting the brand DNA to messaging that resonates with customers, then you're less worried. In that case, you should be embracing this.
Yeah, but that's going to happen anywhere. The smarter, harder working people that are more, again, what's your skill set? What are you good at? Take that, combine it with AI, you'll be the best. And that cannot compete with someone who's good but doesn't have AI, or someone that's not good and has AI. And we're going to see more and more of that.
So it's going to be more of the kind of the bifurcating, right? The ones who are good, your talented people, the ones that are willing to put in that time to learn these tools are going to do great. The ones that are not willing to put in these tools or are mediocre, I don't know that those, I think a lot of those jobs are going to disappear.
Yeah, hopefully other jobs will open, but I will not go into the kind of depressing discussion I had with this in my class like last week.
We'll save that. We'll save that for another time. But we're at about time for the day. In a couple of weeks, we are going to have our first guest.
Yes.
So it'll be the Droid trio that week. We'll have to give her a color. But Juliana Neilbauer, a co-author of ours, is going to be with us talking about the current state or the latest state of intellectual property and AI. So a space that is continually changing. Gil, when did we write
and she's a real lawyer, by the way, not like us.
When did we write that article? It's been a couple of years.
2023. It's like shocking.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, the three of us had written an article about the challenges that AI was going to face due to intellectual property law. So we brought in a lawyer to help us with that. So Juliana will be joining us and giving us the lay of the land and where she sees things heading.
Yeah, I don't think she sees it that way that we brought her over. I think she kind of was leading in that part, but yeah.
She was already leaning into it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we'll see everyone in 2 weeks.
See everyone in a couple of weeks.
Bye.